Hold up, that didn't play. We gotta play that again. Okay, just making sure. Hey, Tawata girl, how you doing?
Hey, mama. What's up?
How
How
are
you doing?
you? How
I'm
you
doing
doing?
good. I'm
Yes.
doing good.
I do a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I'm so happy that we are here. This is episode 3 of season 2 of the Sister to Mother Effort Sister Connection. Excuse my French, everyone. I am Letitia Campbell. We got my amazing bestie on here, Tawanta Davis Jones. And on this show, we get deep, like deep.
Down to the
So
root.
yes. So we got an amazing topic for you guys this evening. Tawanda's actually going to jump in just a second and give you guys the full details and the synopsis of what we're going to be discussing tonight. I want to give a special announcement. Those of y'all who are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us on the tube, honey. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel right now. This is our official channel. This is the channel where we're going to be doing the show on. I'm also streaming this live inside of our Sister to Sister Connection Facebook group. So if you're watching this in the Facebook group, hey guys, how you doing? If you want to join our Sister to Sister Connection Facebook group, the link is in the comments, not in the comments, but in the description below for those of you who are on YouTube. So Tawanta, let's get things going, sis. If you could let everybody know what the topic is going to be about today.
Hey, everybody. So, yes, we are going to talk about your staging or your stage of life. So, basically, it's called Your Life is Not a Dress Rehearsal. And Letitia and I, we actually had this topic a couple of years back, and it was actually a phenomenal discussion.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of feedback from people who was watching it with us. And so basically we wanted to just touch on that again, because that was 2 years ago. Things have changed since then.
That's
As
right.
we all well know. And a lot has changed in our lives personally and professionally. And with this pandemic, it has really put life on a pause for
Mm-hmm.
us. And if you have ever been at at a stage, at a show, especially if we required a stage performance, you're always sitting in the audience and you're waiting for the show to take effect, to take action, to take place. And or if not, you wait for the intermission to be over, and all those things. So you know this is how our life is right now. It's on an intermission break, and this is the time that we go ahead and revive, we reset, we go ahead and ponder on what we saw, as far as act one, scene one, act one, scene two, on stage. But look at our life. Our life
Yeah.
is a stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
What have we done, in act one, scene one,
Yep.
last season, and
Mm-hmm.
so far and so on. So yes, we are going to get deep and dirty about this. And I say dirty because there are some
Dirty, honey.
issues,
Yes. Yes.
there's some issues about us sisters that, we continue to still keep on digging deeper down in the crevice of the earth, in our hearts. We try to keep it away from people because we don't want people to know, what's been going on with us, because we like to perform.
Yep.
A lot of us are what's the word? We are Oscar ready because we know how to perform when we get in front of people. We know how to pretend. We know how
Yep.
to, make people believe that our world is so picture perfect.
Exactly.
But as soon as the lights and cameras are gone, that's when hell all breaks loose. That's when you see the travesty. That's when you start, really showcasing the real you. So we're going to talk about that kind of stuff tonight.
That's right. That's right. We all, at some point in our lives, or currently still going on, we all struggle with defining who we are, like at the core basis. So a lot of the times, I always tell people that when you're first meeting people, you're not really meeting them initially. You're meeting their representative. You know
Mhm.
what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Mhm.
it's that too. And how do you balance who you are and also please everybody else? So it does feel like you're on a rehearsal, like it's lights, camera, action. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm like off here. It always feels like your lights, camera, action every day because
Right.
you are setting the stage. Um, the Facebook Live has expired. Okay, thank you for letting me know. It does feels like you're setting the stage for people when really you're not. You know, so I mean, you want to jump into? I wanted to first talk about some of the things that Tawanta, you and I have dealt with, and then we
Sure.
could jump into how to help the audience out. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on one second, guys. It seems that we're not live on Facebook. It says the Facebook Live has expired. Let's fix that first.
Mhm.
It says we are live. Why is it? That's strange. Hold on one second, y'all. We'll be right on it. We'll be right on it. Just want to make sure our group can see us because it's showing on my end that we are live. Okay. Until I figure that out, Tawanti, would you like to share something that you have that's happened to you in the past that made you feel like you was on a rehearsal?
Yeah, let's see. Wow. Well, I would say that it just seemed like with me personally, as far as in my relationships and whatnot, constantly dealing with the same um uh relationship issues with people who just don't want to, be real. And
Mhm.
um, they continue to perform. As I said, that is the key word that I'm going to be saying, because honestly, a lot of people are still performing. They're not really living their full life. They don't want to be raw. That's the thing,
Mhm.
and if you bring it to their attention, they take offense to it. They look at you strange. They're like, well, how dare you, that kind of thing. And I dealt with that in the past, trying to really just let people know that, I don't do that type of stuff. I don't
Mhm.
pretend, I don't act, I don't try to be somebody that I'm not. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to win people over,
Mhm.
because of my talents or my skills or my gifts. I can't do that because that's just not my nature anyway. And I
Mhm.
don't feel authentic, right? I don't feel authentic. And plus, you playing with someone else's emotions.
Mhm.
You do when you do things like that to a person, they start to, eventually they draw to you, they become
Yeah.
attractive to you.
Yeah.
And they just, either fall in love with you, or they fall in love with your profession or what
Mhm.
have you. But then after a while, they start to notice some things about you. After a while, they start noticing your personality, your temperament, your actions,
Yeah.
your behavior. And then you question them, and
Yeah.
you get a negative response, or you know what I
Yes.
mean? And it's like a verbal attack or what have you. And and then they flip the script to make it appear like you're the one
You're the
that is
issue.
yeah,
Absolutely.
like you
I
have
can
the issue.
totally relate to that. I can
Yes.
absolutely, because that's, obviously in this world, more and more people are starting to have that narcissistic word is going around more and more these days because it's a real thing. A lot of people have been shut in their homes and they really gotten the real experience when it comes to narcissism and narcissistic behavior, where you do feel like you're walking on eggshells, and this could be from a parent, it could be from a spouse or whoever, and to where you
Yeah,
have to perform in order to not to sort of get that person off your back. And that
absolutely.
is traumatic. That is a feeling, an experience of trauma, or
Right.
feeling that you're faced with all the time, that makes you feel like you have to be something else that's not you.
Hmm.
You have to be on display on stage like it's a rehearsal, and then you continue to live that type of lifestyle. It's almost like you're having this out of body experience and you're never truly happy.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
And especially, you always question yourself. You start to
Mm-hmm.
question your worth. You start to question your responsibility. You start to question your whole level of maturity.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, maybe am I strong enough?
Yep.
Am I
Yep.
adult enough to deal with this? Or you know what I mean? Depending on
Yeah,
that the
absolutely.
situation or that person that you are, that you have built a connection with, a relationship with. And again, as you say, you have to put on this performance just to
Mhm.
avoid argument, just to
Out of our
avoid
argument. Yeah.
this static type of relationship.
Yeah, so
Just
you don't
to
have to be combative, and especially if you're not
exactly
already a combative person, you don't want to be a combative person. That's not in your
no.
nature. And just to even piggyback of what we spoke about last week, that if one way I feel like that you're living a life where you're feeling like you're in a rehearsal, you're always on stage, is if you can't make decisions for yourself. It's like I talked about this last week. There was a point in my life where every time I would want to buy something or was considering something, I always said, "Well, what do you think about this?" Or I can never decide on hitting the go button until I got approval or confirmation from
Mhm,
somebody or something else. And
mhm,
for me, that forced me to make poor decisions.
mhm.
All decisions that I was making off of counsel of somebody else put me down the wrong path because it's really something things I didn't want to do, but I didn't want to disappoint people. So I had to, sort of say, I felt like I had, not that I had to, but I felt like I had to get confirmations on things I already knew the answer to, you
Yeah,
know?
and I mean, and it's so, and as you said before too, it is so draining.
Mhm.
It just
Talk about it.
really, it just really depletes you. It depletes you from really doing what you were supposed to be doing for yourself or for your career or
Yep.
for your whatever,
Yeah, for
because
your life.
yeah, for your life, actually, yeah, absolutely, for your life. And
Yeah,
at some point you're just going to have to go either stage left or stage right. You're going to have to
that's
exit.
right.
You're going to have to make a decision as to what to do, so to have a happy ending,
Happy
you
ending.
know
Yes, yes.
happy ending with your life, because you
Yep.
cannot continue to deal with this same type of toxic relationship. You can't continue, and especially if you have children involved and you have teenagers
Yeah.
involved, because
Yeah.
they are part of this whole. They see this, you know what
And
I
they
mean?
start to do the same exact thing that you do.
Absolutely.
And what piggyback of what Tawanta mentioned, guys, about draining, this is a totally another feeling of being mentally drained
Mhm,
versus physically drained.
mhm.
Physical drain you could recover from real fast with just some rest, maybe some icy hot or whatever. But when you are mentally drained, that
Yeah,
takes
girl.
so much out of you to where you don't have the space to do anything. You're just
Yeah.
mentally drained. You're not doing anything when you're mentally drained, but just sitting there, feeling bad or feeling regretful or feeling sad over whatever traumatic experience that you're going through. What I mean by traumatic experience, I'm talking about arguing or dealing with just combative verbal um foolishness,
Yeah.
which it is foolishness at times.
And if
So,
you, and I'm
yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut
go
you off,
ahead,
but
go
I
ahead.
mean, if ladies, if this is something, what we are talking about is this is something that you're experiencing, then right now you need to consider yourself, that you've got to realize that, yeah, this is the stage of my life, this is the performance of my life, and I
Mhm,
have been so overwhelmed, I have been so drained, I have been so tired, I have been just stressing out, I have been in a fog,
mhm.
like my physical body is there, but emotionally I am so far away, because my mind is still reflecting on that argument or that debate, or the fight or whatever that you were dealing with, and it's causing a major halt, in your present situation right now. You
Mhm.
can't be productive. That's just the bottom
Nope. No,
line.
you
You
can't.
cannot be
No,
productive.
you
You
can't.
can't
You
move
cannot.
forward. No matter
Yep.
how much you try, you just
Mhm.
cannot move forward until you basically stand there and deal with the problem
Deal with the
at
problem at
hand.
hand. And you know what, guys? You guys, let's going back to being feeling like you're on rehearsal and how we have to, sort of pretend and compromise and sacrifice for people in our lives just so that we don't get them angry and feeling like we're walking on eggshells. And then we forgive their combative behaviors or their mistreatment of you. The worst people to forgive is somebody. I'm talking about, okay, I'm gonna say this because some of y'all be like, forget, you have to forgive in order to move forward. I'm not talking about that. What I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about is those of y'all women out there, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Where when you forgive a person just so that y'all could just move on, like you just say, you know what, even though what you did was wrong and you didn't say sorry for it, I'm just gonna forgive. I'm just gonna move on, and we're just gonna sweep this over the rug. And then by the end of next week, by the end of next week, y'all back to the same place you were the week before, because you allowed that issue, that problem, be swept under the rug without that individual changing. Now I know this firsthand, where I have done that, where I have said, you know what, I just want to move on, so let me just sweep it on the rug. Let me be the bigger person and say I'm sorry, and just, forgive him for whatever, or her or him for whatever happened, and move on. But it ended up having the same cycle. Everything is a pattern until you break the wheel and says, no, I'm not going to forgive you for that. I'm not going to move on from that until you change. Or, I do this a lot now, where if I have a particular issue with somebody and then they gaslight me. Well, if y'all know what gaslighting is, look it up. But basically what it is that, you can go to somebody with a problem and they'll talk about something that you did 10 years ago. They totally just gaslighted what you said. I'm not talking, or they say, I did this because you
Mm-hmm.
did that. No, they just totally gaslight you. So
Yeah.
now you're going to go back to that thing you did 10 years ago that you don't even really remember why, you reacted that way. But then you're now, oh, am I really, maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm a bad person or whatever.
There you
Maybe I'm
go.
being unreasonable. And it's like, you have to say, no, this is
Mm-hmm.
why I'm upset. I'm talking about what this situation,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to constantly reiterate and stand up for
Yeah.
yourself and say, no, you did this and it made me feel this kind of way,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
yeah, you're going to get that a lot. So it's like, forgiveness is great. We're all supposed to forgive. You're supposed to forgive and say, I'm going to forgive and one. But also, don't get to a point where you're really being the enabler, because you're
Wow.
not addressing the issue and you're not putting it in front of their faces and saying, no, you need to change, or else I'm going to create these boundaries, because I
Mm-hmm.
got to start creating these boundaries, or else I'm going to, put myself, be depressed and be sad and feeling
Yeah.
like, once again, that I'm on a big old rehearsal just to please you,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
You are absolutely right, because I had experienced that, through the course of my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
That's everything that you are saying. That's exactly what I
Yeah.
experienced.
It's always the same experiences.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that that it took a while for me to really start to rehearse the
Mm-hmm.
same drama over and over and over, because I absorbed that stuff, and it had put me in a fog, put me in a daze, put me in that same mindset, that negative mindset. Like,
Mm-hmm.
am I being a good wife? Am I being a
Mm-hmm.
good mother?
Mm-hmm.
Am I, if I'm not, am I not taking care of the house, or
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
whatever, all of these things.
All these things. Yeah.
Yeah, to make it appear like I was the abuser.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bottom line,
Yeah.
which that was never the case.
It's
um
never.
is it and and I thank God that He has helped me through that process. you
Mm-hmm.
know God helped me to forgive, yes, but it's a process to forget. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people gotta understand that, especially if you've been victimized in
Yeah.
any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you may have the heart of forgiveness, but it's still going to take a season for you to forget.
That's right.
Okay.
I think we should be, when it comes to the forgiveness part, like for me, instead of forgiving the individual that hurt me, I had to forgive myself
There you
for
go.
allowing that individual to make me feel like I wasn't a great mom, or make me feel
Hmm.
like starting a business was not the right thing or whatever. But then not forgive that person for that issue or those several incidents, and saying, no, I'm not going to forgive you, because here's the thing, guys, about forgiveness. You forgive somebody, you say, hey, I forget, I'm sorry, I forgive
Hmm.
you, and they do the same thing over and over and over again.
Come
So,
on.
but you continue to forgive them. So now you're now the enabler. Enabling that behavior, because you are not establishing the boundaries that needs to be set to make this stuff stop. And I'm not trying to say you're supposed to change the person, because we all cannot change people, but
No.
we should get more in depth with not tolerating certain things that people do say and how they treat us. If somebody's treating you horribly, you need to say it.
Absolutely.
Point blank, period. Whether
Yep.
they're going to accept it or not, that's up to them.
Yep.
But you need to say, honey, you are treating me horrible. You treat me so horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got
Absolutely.
to say that. And I know that's hard to say,
Hmm.
but I feel like we need to stop being so naive to how we're being treated. I
Absolutely.
think
And
if
I'm a
go
living
ahead.
witness to that, because I too was afraid, because I'm not that type of person to really, initiate or start with arguments and stuff. I've always been
Yeah.
that quiet sister ever since I was a little girl, and I'm still
Yeah.
that same person.
Yeah.
But after a while, when you're tired of being, beaten down with negative words and the trickery and all that other craziness, you
Mhm.
have to get up, get your big girl panties on, as they say, and really say, okay, enough is enough. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean, I say it with nervous, tears may come down my eyes or
Mhm.
whatever,
Mhm.
but now my voice is being heard.
Mhm.
Now I am, shooting the bullets of words and telling that person, okay, look, I'm tired of your abuse. I'm tired of
Yeah.
your nastiness. I'm tired of, all of this manipulation, trickery, drama
That's
that you're
right.
doing,
Issues,
and like
everything.
and like what Tisha said, whether they accept that truth or not, that's on them. Don't take it all in terms of, like, they standing like, you know
Yep.
what I mean? Like stone face. Like it's not affecting them. Oh, believe me, it is. It is affecting them.
I think like when you're okay, so I know some people may ask, so even I've asked this to my therapist. I said, well, why is it that some of us are so easily like tied up in with people that are just manipulators and narcissists and things like that? But really, what it boils down to, if you're real, like a real genuine and kind person, and you really, your biggest attention, your biggest thing is that you never want to hurt people's feelings. There may times where you will, but
Exactly.
you don't wake up in the morning saying, well, I'm just going to hurt people's feelings. I'm going to make people around me feel
Right.
uncomfortable, feel sad, depressed. You go in that in your mind, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
think that other people are that way too. That's the mistake I made. I thought that
Mm-hmm.
being the fact that I'm a type of person that never ever want to hurt somebody on purpose. And if I do hurt somebody, I'm literally like, I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have people in that come across you that are not like that, that don't mind saying whatever they want to say. And if you're crying about it right in front of their face, they're like a wall. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm hurt, I'm crying. You said something that hurt my feelings. You're not even sorry for
Yeah.
it. Instead, they blame the fact that you're crying on you,
Mm-hmm.
and they turn it all around on you. And so you're feeling like, well, maybe it is me. But then no, that's not the case. It's like in your mind, you are not that person that wants to hurt people's feelings on purpose.
Yeah.
You may be dealing with somebody. Again, it doesn't have to be a spouse. It could be a mom. It could be a dad. It could be a child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That it's like I'm gonna project whatever you're putting on me right back on you. Now, if if you're an empath, we take other people's energy in. You're
Yeah.
gonna be the victim because you don't bounce it off like other abusers do, where they can say, "Well, girl, you cuss some abuser, some of these narcissists and some of these toxic people out, and they still gonna go to work the next day and not say good morning to you."
Yeah.
And not feel
Yep.
it, not lose any sleep over it,
Come on, girl.
right? But it's like us taking things in, it's like we could feel off of people's energy so bad that it affects our day, it keeps us up at night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You are so on point on that.
Mm,
Because I think a lot of women don't realize that they, been victimized in a way,
mhm,
that they have been rehearsing this life for so long, that
mhm,
that they like, okay, it's time for me to get off this stage. It's time for me to do something different, because I'm tired of the attack. I'm tired of, being, the punching bag, and not literally, God forbid, but in terms of how people attack you. And and I remember you just said too about forgiveness. We as
mm.
women, we do have to forgive ourselves. We
Yeah, we
do.
do.
We really, really do. I had to do that myself, and it's not forgive myself in terms of what I experienced in my marriage, but This is years before, where I did not stay in my major, and I switched major because I was
Yeah, I
being a
remember you shared that
typical,
story.
yeah, I was being a
Hmm.
typical, college student, didn't want to take all these other courses, blah blah blah, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking I'm doing something great. But then after a while I realized, like, shoot, I should have stayed in my major, because I would have did this, I could have been
Yep.
that, I could have been this, da, 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 da. And years later, I'm still crying off of that. I'm still rehearsing that,
Yeah.
that same script over
Over
and
and over
over and
again.
over again. It's over 2 years, 20 years later.
Hmm.
And then God had to bring it to my attention. He said, why have you not forgiven yourself?
Yeah, you got to forgive yourself for that.
Right.
And if we really go both down to it, God gives us God is, if we feel that God is the head of our lives and everything falls under his control, and it's sort of like we would then say, well, it was not my purpose right now to do that, and that's why I did this. But yeah, I want ice in the cup. I'm sorry. Let it be for the drink. But
Mommy juice.
I had to like obviously a lot of times what keeps us in relationships, whether it's with a spouse, whether it's with a family member, friend, coworker, whatever, it does fall down to the church. I know I grew up with, no matter what, you gotta, be loyal, faithful, and fearless and stuff. And then I had to, like, what helped me a lot, Tawanta, was me looking at normal relationships. Like, what is a normal relationship? Not
Mm-hmm.
a perfect relationship, because there is no
Mm-hmm.
perfect. You will argue with your spouse. You will argue with your mom. I
Yeah.
love my mom. I tell people I love my mom to death, but she be getting on my nerves sometimes. And I even asked her, I say, Mom, you need to be on our show one day. And she's like, I don't know. I was like, we'll see. Because she does know a lot. And I really feel like she should be like on a segment where we talk about like colorism and stuff like that. Because she
Yeah.
has a lot to value to give. But I started to look at what it's like, those of you who are struggling on, sometimes we feel that this is a relationship. Like those of us who are in toxic relationships, we may feel like that's how it's supposed to be. So we glamorize that part and we say, well, this is how it's supposed to be. A marriage is supposed to be hard. A relationship is supposed to be hard. A
Yeah.
business is supposed to be hard. But it's like, when we look at a normal relationship,
Mm-hmm.
a normal way to communicate, we then compare what we are doing, what's going on in our lives, and we say, wait a minute, it's not right. This is not,
Yeah.
it's not right, and it's not okay.
Yeah.
And it's a process, guys. But look at, if you're in a marriage and you're not happy, look at what a normal marriage looks like. I was like, what does a normal Black marriage looks like? And that's what I had to do. What does a normal mother to daughter relationship looks like? And I had to do that because early last year, me and my mother was like at our bumping
Yeah.
heads all the time.
Right. Right.
And I had to accept my role in that,
Mm-hmm.
and so has she hers. And we're still working through it. But it's like, you know, that's what it's about,
Right.
you
And
know?
and that's, I'm glad you say, like, you had to know your role, because when you are on stage, you need to know your role, your character,
Your position.
your position, um you know um so your life story can be effective,
Mhm.
and you stand authentic, your truth
Mhm.
starts to come out, and you don't have to stress, you don't have to do extra. You know
Yeah.
what I
And
mean?
I do believe that who we are today as women does
Yeah.
stem from some type of childhood trauma that we've gone through. It doesn't have to be abuse. But for me,
Yeah.
I know when I first initially got into my relationship, my marriage, it was right after my dad died. And so normally people will wait a year or two to grieve and get through that process. But after he died, I've had a huge issue with abandonment and feeling alone, because everywhere, even when my father was so protective over me and my sister that
Mm-hmm.
every time we would go somewhere, he'd be like, "Oh, I'll pick you up. Oh, daddy, such and such, mom is going to drop. No, 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 stay where you are. I'm going to pick you up."
Mm-hmm.
And spend the night at nobody's house. Like, he had such a protection over us, not in a bad way. He was a dad, he wanted to make sure nobody messed with his daughters because he was about it type of dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, that's how he was. But then, after he passed away, I did feel like out of place and lost in the world, because I lost my best friend in the whole universe.
Or,
So it's like, with that said, a lot of times we pick up that can be it's a trauma for some people, feeling lonely and feeling not accepting and whatnot. And we try to project that onto other people, which isn't good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I know with me, especially with my mom and I were very, very close, you
Yeah.
know, because I'm the only child. So, you
Mhm.
know, when, of course, she was, of course, as a mother is, because we're moms, we're very protective over our children,
That's right.
those things. But, you know, being a star, I was the only one. She was very, very protective, you
Mhm.
know, over me and all
Yeah, I
those
could
things.
imagine.
And you
Yeah.
know, she was like the mom, dad. She was like police, everything. She was
Everything,
wearing all those
everything.
hats, you know.
Yeah.
And her marriage was also a challenge too. I had to witness certain things, you know, as
Yeah.
well. And you know, her being married to my stepfather and all those things.
Yeah.
And so, you know, her life was, she wasn't portraying, you know, like a damsel in distress.
Yeah.
You know, she was not even trying that. She was living that damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh.
And she wasn't faking the funk. She wasn't performing or anything. You know, she was genuine with her words. She was genuine with
Yeah.
her smile. And there were times that, you know, she would try to smile, even though to prevent herself from crying. And especially
Mhm.
when it came to me and all those things. And, you
Yeah.
know, as a child, you pick up your moms or you pick up your parents, you know, feelings. You know, you
Mhm.
feel something about you, that someone that you really tight connected to.
Yep.
And, you know, my mom, like I said, she tried her best to protect me and all those things,
Yep.
not just protect me from guys or whatever, but just protect my heart,
Yep.
protect, you know, my mind, my vision, everything. What I saw, she tried herself to block it, but she
Yep.
could not. Of course, she tried her best or what have you. And as we get older, we you know, we go ahead and copycats, if you will, what our moms or our parents or sibling does, or teach, you know, they teach us or whatever, and we bring that into our life, into
Very
our life
true.
story. You know what
We
I'm saying?
do. We do.
And honestly, we have to, how can I say, we cannot duplicate their life because they
Nope.
had to live their life. They had to live
Mhm.
their role. Now
Mhm.
you have to live your role, meaning
That's
you have
right.
to know your identity. You have to
Mhm.
know who you are.
Mhm.
You know, because you're not your mom, you're not your sister, you're not your grandmother,
Nope.
you're not your auntie.
Not at
You
all.
are you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And yes, they will be a blessing to give you words of wisdom and words of advice and all these things or whatever. And thank God for that. But you still have to know who you are
Who
through
you
this
are.
journey that you are traveling on.
Mhm.
Okay. And embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace not just the good stuff, but even the ugly stuff, even the embarrassing stuff, even the
Yeah.
shameful things, all that
Yeah. We're
stuff.
not small. You know,
You're
you're
not
bigger than you
small.
think. Yeah. Absolutely. And you got to do that and go. Let's just jump into some solutions here now.
Yeah.
I feel that, it's okay to not be okay, and I know we've all heard that. Somebody told us that many times growing up, but I had to realize it's okay if I'm sad right now. It's okay if I'm angry
Yeah.
right now. It's okay to be in this moment and also accept how we feel instead of saying, you know what, I'm just gonna let me just take it off. Let me just not address it. It's okay to not be okay, ladies. I was telling my
Right.
clients this tonight. Like, we don't have to put on a facade. The only facade that we're putting on is the facade that we're putting over ourselves. It's
Yeah.
okay to not be okay. It's okay to live in that moment of sadness. But after that, what are you going to do? What are you going to do next? Okay, I'm sad right now. I'm going to let it out in tears. I'm going to put it on the altar, as they say. But what am I going to do next to change, to do things different, or to get a different outcome? So a lot of times we're dealing with people in our lives that are going to be who they are, you know
Mm-hmm.
that are, you can't change. That's the one thing you guys gotta understand. You cannot change anyone. The best person to
Right.
work on and change is you. So what I do now is that, being the fact that I have somebody in my life who they are, and that's who they are, and that's it. Now I know. Now I say, you know what? This is how I'm going to respond when this comes up, or this is how I'm going to respond when that comes up. This is what I'm not going to do. This is what I'm not going to give. This is what I'm not going to allow,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can have this protection of peace and
Mm-hmm.
serenity over me. Because
Mm.
people would drag you out emotionally if you're willing to go on that ride. If
Right.
you say, you know what, I'm not going to get on that horse with you. Not going to get in that car with you. I'm not going to get on that level with you. I'm just going to be quiet right now. Okay, you
Exactly.
got it. Okay, that's okay. Cool. That's how you feel. All right. No problem. Because I had to sit down and say, Tisha, why are you arguing when that person is still going to be this think the same way this
Girl,
time next year? Come
come
on, we
on.
actually took a journal of every single argument we had with somebody. You're gonna notice in a span of 5 years, you've argued about the same topic 1,000 times. So now you have to say, you know what, this person, that's how they feel. That's how they eternally feel. No matter how I yell, cuss, scream, go crazy,
Girl.
it's not going to change how they feel. That's their reality. You have your reality. I have my reality. You have your
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
You can't change somebody's reality.
Mhm.
And whether it's right or wrong, if you sit there and you're trying to go toe to toe with them, I'm going to argue. Remember, it's going back to how you may just be different. You may be that type of woman that doesn't want to hurt people, but that other individual is like, hey, I don't care if I say what I said. I hurt that person. If I cheated, I hurt that person. Is what it is I'm just going to blame it on them. That's how people feel. Some people feel
Exactly.
that the only reason why I stepped out or did this is because it's their fault. They
Mhm.
they hold zero blame on themselves. Everything
Right.
in life that they do is because of somebody else. That's how they feel. Can't
Mhm.
change that. So now when those things come up, what are you going to do?
Mhm.
And you know, somebody told me this like 10 years ago, Tawanta, but I didn't catch it. I'm sitting there, girl, crying in the bathroom, right on top.
Ah, yeah.
Going through it.
Been there.
Called my 1-800 therapy line, and the lady was like, "Well, what do you want to do? What do you?" She's like, "In this moment, what is going to make you happy?" That's when I started watching The Office. You know, that's when I got into that series because I would watch it. Michael would have me dying laughing, and that would make me happy. And ever since then, you know, I didn't really catch it then, but I sort of started to get it later on. That in
Mhm.
this moment, I got only thing I have control over is me being happy. So if I have, you know, eating a bowl of ice cream or listening to some music or talking on my phone, you know, with my one of my homies or whatever, that's
Mhm.
what's gonna make me happy, and that's it. There's people
Exactly.
out there, guys, that don't want to see you happy. I may be the first person that tell you this, but you know, some people out there in your life, they feed off of your negative energy. An individual who's a narcissist, I'm not a therapist or a medical. I'm just going off experience. A person who's a narcissist or abuser or antagonizer, they feed off of your sadness, your
Come
depression.
on.
That's like they're like,
Yes.
oh, and I'm telling you exactly what they think in their heads. They're like, wow, she's being
Say a
affected
word. You said a
by
word right
the
there.
words I just told her. This is great. And you may think that no, because you're a nice person. You're an amazing person. You would never, if somebody was on the floor crying on the toilet, you want to pick them up and say, girl, come here, come here. I'm so sorry. There's
Mhm.
people in your life that would just look at you cry and be
Yeah.
happy for it. And actually make you feel humiliated for doing that.
Mm.
You know, so it's just the reality of the world we live in. We have good people, we have bad people, we have great
Right.
people, we have people that need some help and they
Mhm.
know they need help, but they don't want to get help. And
True
that's the
that.
world we live in. And we have to accept that part too.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, so I
Mhm.
think the biggest thing for those of us who are moms, if we're dealing with people in our lives who are like that, you have to work on your children. And you have to, if you see any trait of that, any trait of that, you have to nip it in the butt right there because it is a learned behavior and it can be changed when they are a
It's a
child. Once they
learned
reach
behavior.
adulthood, is really no hope for that person unless they're willing to change, which 99% of the time they won't get help for it.
Mhm. You absolutely right.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, we need to pass the tape, pass the plate. You know, get.
That's the right like he used to do. It's the
Okay.
truth. When I sat there and I said, this person is never going to understand what I'm saying,
Mhm.
then I
Mhm.
look like the idiot because I'm trying to convince the person that they're wrong.
Yes.
1,000% right. Some people in your
Yes.
life, and we talked about this on another show. When you're dealing with a right fighter, you are always wrong.
Mhm.
It could be
Mhm.
the sky can be blue outside, and you know it's blue. I hope
Mhm.
I can break this down so y'all get it. You know the sky is blue, but the person saying is purple. In their reality, the sky is purple. But
Mhm.
you, a human with common sense, is blue. It's purple
Mhm.
to them. It's
Mhm.
purple to them. You're not going to
Mhm.
change it. It's always going to be purple to them.
Again, that's
No
it's
matter
just.
how much you
Whew.
yell,
Yeah.
stomp,
Yep.
bang your head against the wall. What's wrong with
Mhm.
her?
Absolutely.
Why are you going crazy? All I said the sky was purple. That's my
Mhm.
reality. But
Mhm.
it's not purple, it's blue.
Mhm.
And they're so calm, baby.
Mhm.
This guy, y'all see her? Look, all I said was this guy was. Y'all see her? They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna bring a whole. You ever notice? I'll have people. They bring a whole tribe against
Like,
you. Like maybe something is wrong with her. All she
oh,
said, he said was the sky was purple.
yeah,
Let's go.
girl,
Now
I've
there's
been there.
sometimes that you ain't gonna dip and backslide on that because we all do because we're human, right?
Right.
Even forgive that part of yourself, the parts of yourself that where you go back and you meet that person's match and you go back and forth with them. Forgive yourself for that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me continue on with the solutions as well. What you're saying,
Hmm.
and I did touch on it a little bit earlier.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
don't wait for people's apologies. I mean, there's a meme, but they don't show it now. But I remember a couple of years back they had a meme, circulating on social media, where there was a skeleton sitting on the bench just waiting for that person to come and apologize,
Mm.
and you're gonna be sitting there forever. You're gonna be
Can
like
you
that
say that again?
skeleton.
Can you say that again, Swaddle?
You sitting on the bench, as a skeleton, waiting for that person to come and apologize. And
My God,
that's
today.
exactly what a lot of people are waiting on. They're waiting for that person, waiting for their child's father, the baby daddy, to apologize and all these things. And let me tell you, ladies, that is not going to happen.
It's
It
not.
will happen where you may not even be around.
Don't even hold your breath.
Don't hold your breath. Don't, because
And
here's
don't
the
hold your
thing.
life. Don't
Right,
hold your life.
exactly.
Don't put things off waiting for that person to
Right.
come around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's just like this here. You see this liquid. It's like it looks clear, it looks good, it looks everything. But as soon as you keep sipping it, it's toxic poison. And this is
Yes.
exactly what a lot of us sisters have been doing. We have been drinking up the poisonous of other people's behavior and actions and all this stuff. And it's killing us faster because we waiting. We just waiting for them to get it. We're waiting for them, to realize that they have did some, emotional mental damage to us. We waiting for them. Even when you did, confess, you spoke your truth, yet it still did not break the wall, their
It didn't.
wall down. And you still walking around mad and angry and slamming things and
But you
cussing
know
and
why we
fussing
do
and
that
all
though,
that other
Tawanta?
stuff.
We
Huh?
do. You know why we do that? How we wait and wait because we
Yeah,
we
girl.
we're hopeful. So we
Right.
live our lives on hope that people around us is going to be the people that they're are going to live up to their what they promise. But here's the thing, that comes from sometimes people may love bomb you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, they'll do a little bit like they'll buy you, little flowers and maybe be 2 whole days where y'all having just living in a honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's going great. Baby, you look nice. Daughter, you amazing. They
Mm-hmm.
sending you nice text messages and stuff.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then third day, they're right back to being, Jackal was Jacqueline Hyde or whatever.
And that can mess up your
That messed
mind
you up.
real
And then
quick.
the people around you, because it's
I've
happened
lived
to
that
me,
life.
was like, Keisha, girl, what's wrong with you? Because that person showing them the loving text messages they sent you. They show them the receipt of 1-800 flowers or edible arrangements that they brought you since your job.
Mm-hmm.
And they show you all these things, and now you look like the crazy one. They don't see. The thing is that a lot of times a narcissistic or abusive person will never show publicly who they really are.
Oh no, no,
You're
no.
only you just may be the only person they treat horribly. Everybody
Mm-mm.
else they could treat like golds, roses, and things like that,
Mm-mm.
because they want that what's it called? That there's a word for it. I wish I could remember. So
Mm.
you may just be that, and they're gonna love bomb you, and then act right back to the other way that they
Absolutely.
were, and then you're gonna forgive them eventually because they're
Yep.
very patient.
Yep.
May not be today, but it will be before the end of the week because you just want to move on. You want things to be great because you want to hope that they'll change. And
Mm-hmm.
then a lot of people end up into this like they snap
Right. Right. They
because
do.
of an episode they had that made them just go crazy off of that abuser. Just some people out there they're just very COVID, meaning that they're very good at planning
Mm-hmm.
things out to get to their ultimate agenda.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Because you
definitely.
supply them with something that nobody else supplies them with. So once they're done with getting that from you,
Mm-hmm.
they'll treat you however they want to treat you after that. Because if they got it from you, and they listen. Let's not take account. They just may do love you.
Mm-hmm.
They say it and they believe in their mind, but but they believe in their mind. That's what their definition of love is.
Yeah.
So theoretically, they do love you. They do, but their way.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
love is really is what is your interpretation of what love is. Everybody's interpretation of love is differently.
Mm-hmm.
There's people out there that can be, Lord Jesus, I hate talking about this, but can sexually abuse their relative, their children, or whatever, and that's their way of showing love. Even Yana talked about that when she was
Mm-hmm.
abused by her uncle.
Mm-hmm.
That was his way of showing love. It's wrong. It's
It's
disgusting.
definitely,
It is.
definitely.
It is evil.
Mm-hmm.
But realize that there's that type of people in this world. There's that type, and there's variations of other types and that's why you gotta know who you're dealing with times with people and
Right.
try not to fight and change them and say, you know what, that's who they are, but these are the boundaries that I'm gonna set.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so you don't wait for, people's apologies, because even they're not going to apologize the way you have been
I love that
criticizing them.
skeleton.
Yes. Yeah. You sitting there on that bench, honey, got your legs all
Sit
crossed and
right up there on
everything.
that bench. It's never coming.
It's never coming. And you are just
The bus ain't never
decaying.
coming.
You are decaying and decaying and decaying. And by the time they do get it together, girl, you be gone.
Listen,
You just like in the wind, okay?
we have to
Yeah.
focus on things that matter. Our children matter. Our happiness matters. Our life
Yes.
matters. Our health matters. For years, I was dealing with the rotten tooth. That until I started to think of Letitia, I was like, it's time for me to go to the dentist and get that tooth rectified, and fixed and stuff. And it's like we deteriorate,
Mm-hmm.
when we're
You do.
giving. Can you pick that up? Sorry, my
Mm-hmm.
son's upset now because he can't play his video games.
Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah. So let me finish up with this. With
Yeah,
the
finish it up,
solution.
Mama.
So the next thing I had put down here, memorize your lines. What I
Mm.
mean by that is that you take the time out to really start learning who you are. Okay, you take the time out to learn what God says about you.
Amen, amen.
Okay, you take the time out to meditate, because as an actor or actress or a person who's on stage, they are supposed to memorize their lines, especially to get closer and closer and closer to the due date of the actual performance.
Amen.
They don't want you to have the script in your hand. This is the time that you are actually doing a full rehearsal, as if you are standing amongst hundreds, if not
Where is
thousands.
the play at?
Okay.
No, we want the gold one, not the little bucket.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Go ahead, sis.
Yes.
Go ahead.
But you need to memorize your lines. These are your lines.
I'm sorry, girl.
These are your lines. Nobody has it. Yeah, people memorize other people's lines and stuff, especially you have an understudy. If you heard that before, if you
Yeah.
get all that stuff, you have an understudy that knows your lines,
Mhm.
that just in case, God forbid, if something happens to you, then you have that person to take over,
Woo!
but you have been given that assignment to handle what is given to you. So it's your responsibility as a woman of honor, as a woman of grace, as a woman of power, to memorize your lines, to know who you are.
Girl, I
as
want to get
a
the
woman.
running.
Okay, I'm just saying it's the truth. Then the last thing I wanted to share with you: don't let others upstage you.
Don't.
Don't let other people upstage your presence.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let other people upstage your power. Don't let other people upstage your identity or who you are. I mean, don't let people come up there and just start to take all over, take complete control over you and everything. Act like they know you. Because when they start talking about you, they're gonna add some stuff that's not even true. That's not even on script. That's called improvisation. They're gonna improvise. They're gonna add some extra stuff that's not even on the dialogue. That's not even there. And then you're gonna stand there and let that person talk about you, upstage you like that.
Girl, don't make me throw my wig now. I'm about to throw my wig.
I'm just saying. You need to know who you are. And when people start doing that, you're like, hold up. No, no, no.
Mm.
See, now, at some point, yeah, I may have used to be that way.
But
But
it's a new
honey,
day
it's a
today.
new day. It's a new chapter. It's a
It's
new
a new
act.
night
Come
tonight.
on.
It's a new moment right now in
Yes.
2021.
Come through. Okay, 2020, yeah, I may have acted a little crazy. I may have cut
Yes.
up. I may have, took my wig off or whatever. I may have said some things I
I
shouldn't
may
have
have
said.
cussed a lot, but
Come
now,
on.
no
But
more.
now I'm a new woman. I'm ready for this new opportunity that God has laid up
Yes.
for me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said before about memorizing your line, memorizing who you are as a person.
Yes.
Because when you memorize your line, it's not just the lines. You got to know who you are in that moment. You got to
Yes.
know that character. You got to know that person who you portray. Think of your favorite actor or actress, someone that you
Yes.
just like, oh my God, I love her because she's such a phenomenal actress on film, blah blah blah. She is playing that part, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? And you can never forget that person out of your mind.
Yes.
That's who you need to be. Because they
Girl.
would never forget you once you stand up and you start
That's
owning
right.
it. That's my last one
And
too. Own
stepping
it.
into it. Own
You
it.
own it.
Mm-hmm.
You
All the
stand in
way.
it.
All
Let
the
them
way.
know.
Every single day. And every day is a process. Every day is
It
a process.
is.
And be proud of where you're at now. Be proud of where you're going to be. I wrote down to don't dumb down what you're doing or going to do to make somebody else comfortable.
Come
You
through.
continue to be like that young lady said, like, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta get her name. You continue to be the light because you are the
Evan
light.
Gorman.
Girl, when she said that, child, I said,
Child, come on.
I hollered. My kids were like,
Come on.
what's wrong? I say,
She
yes,
ministered, honey. She ministered to the whole world. To the
be
whole world.
the light, honey. I was like, that's it, honey. Where is her cash app at? Because, girl, be the light. That means so much. There's so many meanings, layers to that. Be
Yeah.
the light, whatever that light is, whatever it is that you
Yes.
genuinely want to do, that is just you,
Yes.
is so important. Every day we're becoming free for something that put us in bondage. And I want to let all of you guys know we are here for you, Tawanta and I. Whenever you want to reach out to us, connect
Yes.
to us, join us inside of our Sister to Sister Connection group. We're actually going to have a meeting next week to talk about some things we want to add on in there. But you have the help. You have the help, the support that you need. Reach out to us because we be willing to talk to you guys. But this was a good conversation,
Yes,
Tawanta.
it was.
Really good.
Yes, it was.
Really
And
good. So
ladies, I'm telling you, you own it. You
you
take it. You
own it,
got it. It's
mama.
already in you anyway.
Yep.
Like because I used to do theater, and so I know what I'm saying. When
Yep.
when it's time when the curtains start to come up and everything, everybody's like all nervous and trying to shake off all the
Lights,
nerves
camera,
and everything.
action.
Yeah, and your
Yes.
director, producer say, "Okay, own it. You got this. You got this." Nobody can take this. Take the light off
Nobody
of
can take
you.
it from you. It's you. And I want to share this story again. It's like, and I said this before, how I think it was back in 2017, you spoke over my life. You said, Coach, I see that you're going to be rising above all your haters and your naysayers. And it wasn't until I hopped on a plane on the way to Bali that I looked down out
Yup.
of that window and I said, I'm flying
Yep.
above all that said I can't, I
Mm-hmm.
won't, and I wouldn't. Amen. All
And
right.
haven't
And
stopped
as I
since.
went, I was like, yes, I did this. I did
Mhm.
this. And that's what we have to tell ourselves every day. You could climb as high as you want to climb, or you can go as low as you want to go. But in the day, it's your decision. So forgive yourself for the things that you allow to happen to you, because we have to know our part in this, but
Mhm.
also create boundaries,
Yeah.
stand up for yourself,
Yeah.
and build yourself up. Build yourself
Absolutely.
up. Get that confidence. I was telling my client, one of my clients, this earlier. Confidence is a muscle. You got to keep working at it. You got to keep exercising it, and that all
Mhm.
comes from you having to force yourself to step outside of your comfort zone.
Mhm. Yeah. Be that
Mhm.
principal artist. Be that
Yes,
principal artist, honey, in your life
yes,
every single day.
every day,
Know who
Monday
you
through
are.
Sunday.
That's it.
That's
That's it.
it. All right, y'all. We did a mic drop on that. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Next week we're gonna have another awesomely amazing topic. To want to girl, as always. This was an amazing show. All right, guys. So we're gonna hop off now. We're gonna be back on next Saturday. Normally we hop on Saturday at 8, but Tawanta's daughter is turning 16 tomorrow, so she's gonna be doing an event. So happy birthday to your daughter, sis.
Thank
Tell her
you.
auntie said hello.
Yes.
And we will see you guys next week. Thank y'all for tuning in. Bye, guys. So silly.